Welcome back to Simplifying the State, the podcast where we break down politics. You don't have to try and understand geopolitical affairs by watching Instagram Reels. As always, I'm Adam Watson.
I'm Nicholas Barron.
Okay, so big news in recent week has been the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Yes, that is the official name of the bill that has made it through the House. It made it through the House by one vote. It is the major piece of Republican legislation. It's for some people may know it as reconciliation, but only if you're really tapped in to politics. Basically, it does a bunch of different things. It changes some tax laws. It alters spending. It does a bunch of stuff like that. So basically, we here today we're going to be talking about that bill. Okay, so to start off with, the bill, like we said, has made it through the House as of today by one vote. It is yet to make it through the Senate, although it looks like it will not succeed. The Republicans leading the opposition to the bill mainly is Rand Paul, and he has said that he has the necessary senators, which is, I believe, three or four to oppose this bill. So of those senators, I know there is Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Susan Collins of Maine, Rand Paul, who's leading the charge from Kentucky, Jim Justice from West Virginia, and then possibly others. He has not disclosed who they are, but a couple that are being looked at, like Tom Tillis of North Carolina, who's up for re-election in 2026. So that is probably impacting his decision. So, Nicholas, what do you think Republicans might be thinking who are opposing this bill? Obviously, it's a little different for Republicans in the Senate than it is for the House. They're not, most of them, well, some of them aren't up for re-election for a little bit, but some of them are in 2026. What do you think their logic is here in opposing Trump?
For specifically senators?
Yeah, specifically like the difference between the senator rationale and the House rationale.
Well, there are some members of the House who have come out and say, like, Marjorie Taylor Greene came out and said that she would not have voted for the Big Beautiful Bill if she saw the provision that states would not be allowed to regulate artificial intelligence for a decade. And that could be a reason for some post-House regret for voting for the bill. Now, for senators, I would assume the rationale could be about the same, but there might be some extra kinks that I have not heard of. So,
Right, yeah.
What are some of those?
Yeah, I think the House and the Senate are two very different political arenas. Obviously, senators are a statewide office, whereas House seats are more, local. They answer to the constituents within their district, not the whole state. So, depending upon the constituency of their district, that would probably affect how hardline they are on some of these issues. Although I do find it interesting that that was the issue that Marjorie Taylor Greene had in the bill. I mean, obviously it does seem like an issue, but I find it a little curious that that was the only issue within the bill. But yeah, I assume senators are probably looking more so at the Medicaid and Medicare cuts, the SNAP food cuts, because most of the senators who have opposed this are from states that have a large rural constituency. I mean, most red states have a large rural constituency, and these cuts would significantly harm them. Talking about those cuts, though, for a second. So here are just a couple things that are included in the bill. So the plan would call for roughly $3.8 trillion in tax cuts, the bulk of which would come by extending 2017 Trump tax cuts. The bill includes temporary changes designed to make good on several of Trump's campaign pledges. One of his most iconic from the campaign, which was no taxes on overtime. So basically, it would it would create a temporary provision to exempt them from taxes on overtime uh, between 2026 and 2028. Republicans plan to pay for the tax cuts in the bill by doing a couple of things, one of which is drastically scaling back a lot of the tax credits for clean energy passed as part of former President Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act. The bill would end the $7,500 credit for buying an electric car. It also gets rid of tax credits for homeowners who purchase solar panels, wind turbines, geothermal heat pumps, which basically you put in the basement, and then it heats your house by using the heat of the earth. It's a whole thing. Energy efficient windows, and other stuff like that. And basically, homeowners are currently eligible for a tax credit worth 30% of the cost of the purchase of these environmentally friendly parts of their house. So that would then get rid of that.
And I think it's good to mention that Elon Musk is against the Big Beautiful Bill for a few reasons. And one of the big reasons is that the removal of the tax benefit for EVs will hurt his business. And that's a big reason why he's starting to oppose the bill.
Right. I wanted to talk about that. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that because I thought this whole thing is very funny. What's been happening with Elon Musk and Donald Trump recently? Like, it started like 2 days ago, and it has descended from Elon Musk saying this is not a good bill. He and Trump got into it a little bit, and now Elon Musk has just come out and said, hey, guess what? Trump is not releasing the Epstein files because he's on them, and that's what he actually tweeted. And it's just hilarious to me that it started with, this is not a great bill, and is now escalated to, Trump was on the Epstein files. Like, that is just a massive, like, shift from where it started to where it is now, and that's just kind of funny to me.
Yeah, and a quote from Elon Musk, he called the Big Beautiful Bill a disgusting abomination. So he's really not taken this well, as you've said.
Well, no, I mean, here's the thing. I think there are a couple of reasons he's opposed to it. One is because, like you said, the EV tax credit, which is like one of the big things that has helped his electric car business, Tesla. I mean, Teslas are not really cheap. And so obviously that $7,500 tax credit for people to help people purchase EVs, because EVs are good for the environment in terms of carbon emissions. Obviously he's probably pissed about that. And then also this bill probably does not cut taxes for the rich as much as he'd want to, I'm assuming. That's probably a reason he is opposed to this bill now, which, I mean, he's already like the richest man in the world. I don't know why he needs more tax cuts, but I know why he needs more tax cuts, because he wants more money, but...
Because bigger is better.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's just hilarious to me that a few days ago, he was like in the Oval Office and he was shaking hands with Trump, and he was like doing this whole celebration, and now they're in like a Twitter war. Trump is threatening to cut Elon Musk's SpaceX contracts, which are kind of the only thing keeping SpaceX afloat right now. I mean, they are not a very profitable business without those government contracts. And now it escalated to Elon Musk saying Donald Trump was on the Epstein files. That's why he's not releasing them. It's just a massive, kind of like a band for band between these two billionaires, kind of.
Yeah. I don't think Trump likes Tesla very much anymore.
No, I don't think he likes Tesla.
Like, it's a big computer, but like...
Yeah, the clip from, oh my God. I still cannot get over that there was like a car infomercial on the White House lawn, whatever. All right. All right, back to the topic at hand. Additionally, for the first time in U.S. history, this legislation puts a price tag on applying for asylum, proposing a fee of $1,000. It would also put various fees on different aspects of the immigration system, like sponsoring children, undocumented children. That would be another $1,000. a bunch of other stuff. So now people who are fleeing to the United States are now going to have to cough up money that they probably do not have in order to apply for asylum here, which is just kind of crazy. The
Yeah,
Republican
and
plan
that
would also cut $330 billion from the student loan system by scrapping several existing repayment options, including the Biden-era SAVE program that based uh, student loan payments on income and household size. The Republicans are replacing it with their a new system, which not I haven't read much about it because it's like 100-page bill. No, I think it was 1,000 pages. Yeah, it was 1,000 pages. Uh, which I guess explains why a lot of Republicans did not read it before they voted on it. The Congressional Budget Office has estimated that it will add $2.4 trillion to the national deficit over the next 10 years and leave 10.9 million people uninsured because of cuts to Medicaid and Medicare. Which, real quick, I just want to kind of explain what the cuts to Medicaid and Medicare kind of are. So, there are some cuts to the actual programs themselves, but the main thing that people are concerned about kicking that many people off of their healthcare is basically so for Medicaid and Medicare, there are work requirements, and you have to document this stuff. And then the Republicans, they would like to put more kind of documentation, kind of more recording things, like you have to go to offices and websites and phone to like re-register more often. Uh, which would kick people off of their health insurance because I don't know if you know this. This is probably going to come as a shock to a lot of people, but government bureaucracy is not very efficient. I know it's a shock and a surprise, but the concern is that if you increase the amount of if you decrease the time in between the different registrations for these programs, so like if you have work requirements and you have to go in like every month or every 6 months, which is more frequent than you used to, the concern is then that people who are working jobs who do not have flexible schedules, who could maybe not get out to an office uh, to re-register, or like people who live in very rural areas who cannot just kind of take off a day from work to go from their rural area to the nearest office, which, I mean, now that they've closed some of them, that would be even more difficult. But then that would lead to people getting kicked off of their Medicaid and Medicare, which they may need to live. Uh, Really quick, though, I thought there was a very interesting Republican response to this. Nicholas, did you see this? The Iowa Senator Jody Ernst, the "We're All Gonna Die" senator. Have you seen that?
what happened?
Okay, so basically, there's a Iowa Senator, Jody Ernst. She was at a town hall. People were talking to her about the possible cuts to Medicaid and Medicare. And then she responded, "We're all gonna die." Not like we're all gonna die, like, oh my God, we're all gonna die. More like, I mean, we're all gonna die eventually, so what does it even matter? So, that made me laugh for two reasons. The first one was because a lot of Republicans have been going on the talk shows saying there aren't going to be any Medicaid or Medicare cuts. There aren't going to be really any cuts. And then Jody Ernst is just kind of out here saying, who cares? We're all going to die anyway. What do you care? Just kind of being very cavalier with people's healthcare. You haven't seen that?
No, I haven't. Although that does remind me of something. So like, I back when you said, what even was it? Oh yeah, like the tax on people seeking asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminded me of like the gentleman's agreement between Japan and the United States back in the Gilded Age, and this time it's one-sided, but like,
Right.
and now there's like gonna be removal of safety nets. Just senator saying we're all gonna die. A lot of tax cuts, removal of regulation. And it all points to a certain age. I don't know.
Mm.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we might be headed for the Gilded Age Part 2, but this time with like fun Instagram and social media edits. So
Yeah.
that'll be fun. Yeah, I mean, yeah, reduced regulation, extremely high wealth disparity. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it. Gilded Age Part 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and like onto the Medicaid thing, I think it's good to note that like 3 Republican senators who have previously like tried to I don't know like try to stop cuts to Medicaid, the trio being Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Josh Hawley have been expressing concern about the cuts to Medicaid and like have previously tried to stop cuts to Medicaid before. They weren't successful that time, but no, maybe they'll
Yeah.
get the chance to this time.
Here's the thing I find very interesting about Josh Hawley. So, I mean, he is one of our senators from Missouri, obviously.
Well,
But
obviously,
obviously,
everyone.
yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people might not know that if they're not if they don't like pay attention to politics. But I mean, they might. It's hard to say, honestly, if people know who their senator is. Like, unless they've made like national headlines. Like, I'm sure the people of Vermont know that Bernie Sanders is their senator. It's kind of hard to miss Bernie Sanders. But, I mean, I think Josh Hawley is trying to set up a presidential run. I think he's trying to set up a presidential run in 2028. And I think he is kind of laying the groundwork of being MAGA, but I am pro labor and I am pro union and I am pro middle class, working class, and that's why he's been really like going out and like sticking up for, or at least trying to stick up for against Medicaid and Medicare cuts, because like 2 years ago, you didn't see him saying anything about this. In fact, he was a pretty hardline Trump, whatever Trump says, Republican. And now he is kind of strayed from the pack and has been butting heads with Trump about different stuff. So I think he's really trying to set himself up for a presidential run.
That is intriguing, and it does make sense. But like, I'm not sure how successful that'll be because I feel like the memory of him in January 6th is still like pretty fresh in a lot of people's minds.
I don't know. It might not be as fresh as Democrats might hope it be if he is actually I mean, he won in Missouri again in 2022 against a Marine veteran, Lucas Coons. So, I mean, that is Missouri. I mean, it is Missouri, but which is a pretty safe red state. But I'd be curious to see how he fares in a national primary campaign and then in a general election. Okay. This bill would also lower the dependent age for SNAP food benefits from 18 to 7, not 17-7. So in the eyes of this bill, if you are under the age of 7, you do not qualify for food assistance, and you can stick it out on your own and you can go get to work. So why do you need government assistance?
Gilded Age.
Go work in the mines to earn your food.
Yeah, by the way, the senator election was in 2024, not 2022.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah,
No, it was Eric. It was Eric Schmidt who was in 2022, not Josh Hawley. Brain fart. Yeah. This bill would also end the $200 excess tax imposed on the purchase or transfer of silencers and eliminate registration. Which I don't know why. I mean, if you have a gun, why do you then also need a silencer, but then you also don't want to pay a $200 tax for it? Why?
More guns, more silencers.
Like, what is the benefit to the middle class or to working America by getting rid of the tax on silencers? Like,
they can afford more guns.
Well, no, it's not even the guns, it's the silencers.
Yeah, they don't want to...
So, like...
That's the thing, silencers don't even, like, silence the guns that much. They just kind of muffle it a little bit.
I don't get it, but, I mean, That's
Yeah, you're
honestly
not a
not
gun
even the
guy.
worst. That's not even the worst thing in this bill. But yeah. So Nicholas, one, do you think this could get past the Senate? And then two, what do you think just the general public reaction to this would be?
Well, as it stands, there will need to be a lot of changes for it to make it past the Senate, obviously. It has seen like quite a bit of backlash, and it would need like a lot of Republican senators changing their minds for it to pass. If by some miracle it does pass with some similarity to how it is, I don't think the public would take it too kindly, especially since Trump's administration is already pretty unfavorable. Like, I think it only has a 40% approval rate as it
I'm not
stands right
sure
now.
what its approval rating is. I didn't, but I know it has a 50% disapproval rating.
Yeah, so I don't think people would be too happy about that.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
like not even because it's just attached to its administration, just because of the tax cuts and the cuts to Medicaid and like just there's really no benefit for the working people of America. Like it's
no, there
basically
definitely
trickle
isn't.
down. Yeah, it's just trickle down economics part two, and we know how that went.
But yeah, there definitely is no benefit to middle working class America by cutting Medicaid, by cutting Medicare. I mean, you could argue extending the tax cuts. I guess you could argue that, but then you also extending the tax cuts for the rich, uh, which they definitely need more tax cuts. Um,
Reaganomics, baby.
oh yeah, they also in this bill, what was it? Oh yeah, it would also repeal the excess tax on indoor tanning services. The 10% tax was included in the Affordable Care Act and has been in place since 2010. So don't worry, Middle America, the Republicans hear you and they are coming to repeal the 10% tax on tanning services that is really bankrupting you. You know, those tanning bills got to be through the roof. That's what the main concern is for at the kitchen table of every middle class American. How am I going to afford my tanning sessions this month? I mean, Trump was elected on the idea that he was going to stick up for the working class, that he was going to stick up for the middle class, that he was going to reduce the economic burden felt by many, many Americans. But here's the thing. Yes, inflation has cooled since the peak is what it was, but the costs are still high. The wages have not risen to reflect this. Uh, the the Republican-controlled Senate and the Republican-controlled House, although it's barely Republican-controlled in the House, are now passing a bill that would kick people off their food assistance, kick people off of their health care, uh, get rid of tax credits to purchase things like energy efficient windows, which just means that these windows keep in the air that your central heating or cooling system creates. So it saves you money. So getting rid of a tax credit for something that will also save you money, getting rid of tax credits for solar panels and wind turbines, which can help reduce your electric bill, getting rid of tax credits for electric vehicles, which if you're paying $2 to $4 to fully charge up your electric car, uh, at like if you get like a charging port at your house compared to like $30 to fill up a tank of gas. If you're paying this, it would also uh, cost people who are coming here to seek asylum $1,000 just to get in. Uh, and then also, I mean, then you also have Trump enriching himself with the presidency, taking a plane from Qatar. His meme coin has made him very rich. He hosted a cryptocurrency summit. I feel like you are correct. This is really the Gilded Age Part 2, except we have Rockefeller in the White House.
No, it would if Elon Musk was in the White House, then it would be Rockefeller. But like, yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, we literally have like a robber baron in the White House as the wealth gap has just gone through the roof. And now he's in a fight, an Andrew Carnegie, J.P. Morgan style fight with another billionaire. I don't know. All right. Anyway, all right. So we will be back next week with our next episode. We will be talking about the history and how it connects to today of the price gouging that has gone on within the Department of Defense. I know very riveting stuff, but I think it'll be pretty interesting once we get talking about it. All right. Make sure to subscribe wherever you are listening to this episode, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you are listening. Make sure to rate the podcast if you enjoy it, and we will see you next time.